recording here on December 22nd, Tuesday. A few days from Christmas. It's on the 25th again, right?
It is
Yeah.
25th this year. Yes.
Yeah. And hi, everybody. This is Claude Diamond with a very, very special blab. You guys are in for a treat here. We have some phenomenal creative real estate CRE investors here. And we're going to just have talk about creative real estate and lease purchasing and sales and Hawaii and all kinds of fun things. I'd like to introduce Larry and Mariska Pilch hyphenated Gill, which is the easiest way to say it.
Yeah, that's a toughie. Larry Gill, Mariska Pilch. My friend calls me Pilchy Gill. Whatever works.
Just Larry and Mariska.
Larry and Mariska works.
That'll work. And these are two of the sweetest, nicest, most intelligent people you will ever meet. They're students of mine. They're extremely good looking, and Larry always knows how to dress in his Hawaiian shirt. And they are great real estate investors in Seattle. And next to them, I think, I don't know if I'm pointing the right direction, is Joe McCall, famous Joe McCall, the father of 82 children.
83.
Three children. And a dog, and he's in his new house. And this is a guy who's a wealth of information. And why don't you guys just talk about yourselves for a minute?
Well, Larry, Mariska, go ahead.
Well, I guess I'll start out by saying that we learned about Claude initially through Joe McCall and his podcasts. And
Joe gave birth to me, didn't he?
Yeah, pretty much. But we started investing in real estate. We started working with Claude, and within a few months, I quit my corporate job, which was a little scary, but it turned out to be great. Within a few months, we'd replaced my income, which was good income, with cash flow. And we just haven't looked back since. So we love doing deals. We love talking with people. We love strategizing. We love sales and marketing, and we're just having a blast.
That's great.
So we in one day we invited Claude and then Joe to join us in Hawaii, and so we did that last year, and it was a blast. But we'll talk all about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
And,
Mr. McCall.
Yeah, so my name is Joe McCall, and Blab is pretty cool. I'm impressed. This is nice. But anyway, I live in St. Louis. We just moved into this house. You saw a few minutes ago my office deck. I'm looking out over my backyard and about 2,500 acres of rolling hills of a state park. It's beautiful. It's the favorite place I've ever lived in. And so we just got back from Prague. We were in Europe for 3 months. And Claude and I and Larry Mariska, we've been talking about doing this workshop in Hawaii for a long time. We did it last year. It was phenomenal. And we're so excited about doing it again. And I'm looking forward to talking about it and what are the things that we're going to be working with folks on and what are we going to be doing, talking about the challenges coming forward ahead in 2016 and how we can best overcome them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think, Claude, you're getting so many claps because
Sean, you can stop.
Well, he said his button is stopped.
Stop with the claps, Sean.
I think he fell asleep on his keyboard or something.
Yeah, I think he put something on his keyboard and it's just clapping nonstop.
Is that what it is?
He says it's stuck.
Yeah.
I think I was a little rude. Larry, you wanted to talk a little bit before, and I think I jumped over you there.
That's quite all right. Yeah. Well, I just say, it's been a great experience for us the last few years. Actually, we're still the definitely
newbies.
the newbies here, but it's been great as far as we've had experiences with Joe, we've had experience with Claude, and our real estate business has just been phenomenal. We are having so much fun. We're currently doing deals basically several places in the country and also internationally as well too, and that's kind of a new thing for us, and we're hoping to take that further. But it's all about relationships and getting to know people and working with people and putting yourself out there and talking to people and being real. It's talking to people and
solving problems.
That's as simple as it gets.
Very well said. Can we talk about, we're all in creative real estate here. And what is the definition of creative real estate for people just getting into it? what does that really mean? Are we realtors, investors? What are we?
Yeah.
Well,
any one of us can grab it, but go ahead, Joe.
Creative real estate, I think, is just learning how to. I like to break it into three things: marketing, automation, and delegation. And it's learning how to get leads coming in, learning how to, like attraction marketing, learning how to get people to call you, and then building systems around that and delegating those systems out so that you can run a real legitimate business without you being involved in the day-to-day doing all the details and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so for me, that's creative investing. And it also involves knowing how to take the deals that most people throw away, that most people pass on. And because you understand the right sales skills and you know how to talk to sellers and you know how to do creative deals, you can take those leads that most people throw away and turn them into deals and make money with those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, he said you finally got to the money part. You can make money. Larry Marischka, what's creative real estate?
Well, everything that Joe said is just spot on the money. I would even say, getting to the basics of, so many people say, oh, you're in real estate. Oh, you must be real estate agents. Getting beyond the idea that a real estate transaction must involve a realtor, must involve a bank, and you have to have a mortgage in order to make the deal happen. No, there's so many ways to put deals together to solve people's problems and make money at the same time. And just learning how to do that, learning how to talk to people and ask questions and be creative is what creative real estate investing is all about.
Very good. I'm just go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
Well, that's what we're going to be talking about at this evergreensuccessevents.com workshop in Hawaii. It's going to be an amazing event. It's going to be something that I'm really excited about and looking forward to. I'm looking forward to doing this many, many more times. We've already done it last year, but I think that is going to be the main kind of central theme about what we're going to be talking about during those few days, right? It's how to do creative deals, how to learn how to talk to sellers, learning sales techniques, and how to make a lot of money in this business when most people are really struggling right now. How can we make 2016 the best year ever?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. My mentor, Max, used to always say, I learned this business from a mentor, and he used to say, we're in the business of turning chicken shit into chicken salad. Basically.
Good old Max.
Good old Max. Max had a lot of expressions. Thank you for the props. The thing about it is, I did the corporate America. I did the law thing. I had a couple of my own businesses. I used to sell tools off the back of a truck. I used to have a newspaper business, all these other things, and I never found my groove. And then when I got that real estate fever, I read some books by Robert Allen and William Nickerson and all these different people. And I said, man, I can work from home. I can put food on the table. I can pay my bills. And I can, and the money's important. God, I love the money, but I love the freedom. I love that I'm in control of my income, my destiny, and I'm doing something I love. And that creative real estate, it really, we are the doctors of real estate. We fix problems, and we still make a profit, and we're not ashamed of it. We find a way to help people sell a home that they're stuck with, buy a home because they can't qualify, don't have the money, invest in a home because they want a better than 1% return from the banks. And to me, that's creative real estate. You can work from your kitchen table and just have your own nice little business, and that's wonderful. I think we lost Joe there. Did I say something to upset him?
He wrote a little message that says, I will be right back.
Oh, okay, potty Paul.
He's going to make a deal.
He's either going to make a deal or he's going to go put on a Hawaiian shirt. He probably felt a little left out.
Pick on his 13 children and everything like that.
Sure.
Yeah. But this is a business where it's a real niche business, and I think it takes three things. I think you need to understand the strategies, the different ways to put the deal together. We love lease purchasing or lease with option or rent to own. That's one strategy out of hundreds, if not thousands, of strategies. We need the marketing to find the properties, find the buyers, find the investors and things like that. And then we need to be superb in sales, persuasion, talking to people comfortably. So it's not humiliating. It's not adversarial. It's not intimidation. It's just fun. I just have fun all day talking to people, and I make a great living. While I do it. What's your
Well,
what's
we've had
when I do this? Am I pointing at you when I do this?
Not currently. You would have a little while ago, but we moved
go
over.
the other direction.
Go the other direction now. No, like that. There you go.
Or down.
Down.
Yeah.
There. Oh, almost. Yeah.
Now I'm pointing. Okay.
Is it important to point to us?
Yeah, we know who we are.
So, go ahead though. What's your take on all this?
Actually, last night it was really a real big thrill for us. We gave a check for $750 to a friend of ours that had found a lead, and he couldn't do anything with it at the moment. But we kind of stuck with it. Several months later,
we turned it into a deal.
And so we thought, well, this is really appropriate. This was not our lead. We went ahead and gave a little check to our friend, and it was kind of like a nice Christmas present. But we run into these sort of things all the time, where it's like we get so much it's so gratifying when we can help somebody find a house, or help somebody get rid of their house, or again, it's all problem solving as far as the real estate goes, and
Well, and speaking of problem solving, I mean, not only were we able to give money to a friend of ours who provided us the lead, but this was a classic example of solving people's problems. This woman had a house that it was very dated, and it was a little oddly laid out because it was a custom home for her. That was it. Never thought of reselling it, and she tried to sell it for 8 months with a realtor. and then she finally said, I want a lease option in. And as soon as she pulled it off the market, of course, all the realtors jumped on board, and all the realtors were like, oh, I can sell your house. So she ended up getting an offer, and she called me and she goes, oh, sold the house. We're not going to do a lease option after all. And I was like, okay, good for you. I hope it goes through. Well, a few days later, she called me. She said the deal fell apart. I said, gosh, I'm sorry. But let's pick up the pieces. And we found some folks who, they'd been on our buyers list for a couple of years. They'd been working on their credit. They'd been saving money. They thought the house was absolutely perfect beyond their wildest dreams. And so, we signed paperwork with them the other day, and they're going to be moving in about a week. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, it's just like, you feel like you're in the right place at the right time, but you know that you put the pieces in place to make all of that happen. And it's just really gratifying all the way around.
Do you need a lot of money
to do what? To do this business?
Do you need a lot of money, or what do you need, Joe?
A lot of money if you want to, but our philosophy is we try to use as little to no money of our own that we possibly can. And having the knowledge and the skills and the expertise and being able to talk with people and solve problems, you get paid for that. And you don't have to have a lot of money to make this happen. We put most of our deals together honestly with $10.
Joe, what do you need to be successful in this business? You train a lot of people. You've written a lot of materials. What is the essence? What do people really need to make it?
I think several things. And Claude, I'm sorry for getting disconnected like that. And I think I hear an echo too.
Is it real bad, guys? Larry, Mariska, is it on? I think it might come from your end. I'm not sure. I'll
just go ahead and tell you what I think you need to be successful in this business. You need to understand marketing. You need to have the right systems in place, so that not complicated systems, but real simple systems, so that no leads fall through the cracks and every lead gets followed up on. And number 3, you need to understand sales. You need to understand how to talk to sellers and buyers, because your money is made on the phone, and it's made at the kitchen table. If you decide to go meet with sellers, it's made in that person-to-person interaction with clients, potential clients, customers, whatever. And so this business is, you can get the right marketing, you can get the right systems where all of the leads are just coming in. But if you don't know how to close them on the phone, then you're just really spinning your wheels and you're wasting your time. So I think the key, this is really interesting, because I think looking at 2015 and what's going to be happening, I think in 2016, what's going to separate you from everybody else there's a ton of people out there doing deals right now. There's a lot of people doing wholesaling and lease options out there. There's a lot of competition for those deals. If you want to do better than anyone else, you've got to be better than everybody else, right? So I don't think there is any magic pill, any special secret, super secret list that you've got to mail to, or a special super secret postcard that you need to start using. It's just you need to be better at the processes and the systems. You need to be better at talking to sellers. You need to, guess what? I mean, answer the phones when people call. You need to talk to sellers or call them back right away if they leave a message, right? So I think if you're in a competitive market, or you're complaining about how hot your market is, and all sellers need to do is put a sign in the yard and they can sell their house, why do they need me to do a lease purchase, or why do they need me to wholesale their house, or whatever? Well, that's not really the case. I have client after client after client that I've been working with that have been real successful in very competitive, very expensive markets, because they're just better than all the other wholesalers that are out there. They're better than the other investors out there. And what are the things that they're better at? Number one, they're talking to sellers, and they know how to give good phone, as Claude likes to say, right? and they're very, number two, they're very focused. They're focused on just doing a few things really, really well. Okay. And number three, they follow up.
Yeah.
Okay. Number one, they know how to talk on the phone. Number two, they're focused and they know how to follow up. They follow up with all of their old leads. And that's one of the things I'm going to be talking about at this workshop in Hawaii.
Yeah. Well, just to follow up on what you were just saying, Joe, about, being able to talk to people and getting the calls coming in and the marketing, out and everything, all of that is super duper important. But as you said, being able to talk to people once the phone rings. And, I was recently talking to a friend of mine who's an investor up here in the Seattle area, or trying to become one, and spends well over $500. I'm not going to give the exact number, but well over $500 a month in marketing, and has an assistant to take the incoming calls. And she has yet to do a deal. And she's been at this for over a year. And it's because she won't get on the phone. And we've had this conversation many, many times. And I said, you got to take control of your business. I said, once you know how to talk to people on the phone, I said, then you can train your VA. But until you can do the business, you can't offload it to someone else.
Why is there such fear?
It's fear.
This was the topic of my group call with my clients this week, about fear in sales, because I think you can have the best leads. And Joe is great about talking about systems and generating leads. You could have beautiful leads. You could study with all the gurus, not just us, with everybody, about all the different strategies, subject to and sweat equity and fix up and rehab and lease purchase and all that. But it always is going to come back to the sales persuasion. Why is sales so terrifying to people?
I think, Claude, it's terrifying to everybody. I mean, do you remember, Claude, the first time you started picking up the phone and talking to sellers? It was terrifying, wasn't it?
The phone's was like a cactus. I still think about things that happened years ago, and I get embarrassed all over again. Deja vu embarrassment.
That nausea feeling in the pit of your
stomach.
But here's my point.
I think that's, wow.
Here's my point, because everybody who is good at sales, everybody who does a lot of deals, they all started off that way.
Yeah.
Very, very few people just came into it with 100% confidence and nobody never made any mistakes. But my point is, everybody starts off there. If you were to take a full room of people and ask everybody that has done a lot of deals, right? How many of you were scared the first time you talked on the phone? And they would all raise their hands. And so I think it's something you just got to get over it. And the best way to get over it is just by doing it and giving yourself permission to fail. Well, and as long as you're failing forward, that's going to be the key to your success. Okay. Failing forward, not stopping. Listen, you cannot drive a parked car. Right. You can't steer a parked car. So let's fail forward fast. And let's get as much practice as we can talking to sellers. And listen, it doesn't mean that you have to be doing that for the rest of your life. I mean, once you get good at it, you can start hiring people or training people to do it for you, or partnering with other people to do it for you. And I do things, but everybody has to pay their dues. And it's such an important skill to learn. It's the last thing that you should be outsourcing. And we're going to be talking a lot about that at the workshop as well.
Yeah.
Mariska and I are role playing all the time, even with each other, because it's if you
I role play with my wife too.
Yeah.
Honey, what time is it? Oh, good question. Why did you ask?
Yeah. What would you like for dinner? I mean, we negotiate everything.
You must have brought that up for a reason, dearest. Yeah. And here's my take on this. I think a lot of the seminars and things out there are full of motivation without the perspiration. I think the only way, what Joe was talking about before, is you can get very motivated and focused and everything else. But if you get a couple really bad phone calls where people are rude or hang up or attack you, that phone becomes poison ivy again. Yep. And I think the way to get the solution, at least in my experience with my clients, is practice, role playing and practicing and throwing all the garbage. And I want to do a lot of that in Hawaii, a lot of role playing where they get to think about it and talk to my wife. What are some of the objections that people get, and why do they get those objections?
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing I think it's important, Claude, too, is there's a big difference between cold calls and warm calls, right? If you can set up marketing where these leads become warm, right? Where now they're calling you first, or they're responding to your text, or they see you on YouTube and they say, you know what, I'm interested. Now it becomes you are like returning their call.
Exactly.
Right? And that makes it so much easier if you've got the right marketing and the systems in place where that marketing gets done for you in spite of you without spending a ton of money. It becomes so much easier to talk to sellers because it's not a cold call. Mm-hmm. They want what you have. And just changing your mindset a lot of times is what will help so much.
Yeah, I do a comparison a lot of times about like driving a car. Do you remember when we were all 16, 17, 18, the first time we drove a car? It was very mechanical. We had foot on the brake and put the key in the ignition. And now we get into a car, it's automatic. I think sales can be like that because we hear the same objections, the same problems all the time. And if we're mentally prepared, that builds our confidence, our self-esteem. And if we feel good about ourselves, we can make more phone calls. Most clients I go to get started in creative real estate. I'll tell them very simply, I just want you to do one simple thing. I want you to speak to 5 new people a day, not voicemails, not total phone calls. I just want I want you to set a goal to speak to 5 new people a day. That's 25 to 35 a week. And if you speak to people in a systematic way where you ask questions with nurturing and we have these good adult conversations, the magic always happens in this business. Yeah. Somebody's going to say, hey, I like Joe. I like Larry and Mariska. Maybe they can help me solve a problem. They're not sounding like a used car salesperson in a bad suit. And this confidence and self-esteem, it really comes through the phone. And now with this technology, everything is so much video with YouTube and FaceTime and Skype, and here we are on Blab, and I'm also marketing on Periscope and Meerkat. People can not only hear us, they can see us. Do you think that? Just to change the subject a little. Do you think all this technology with video combined with audio is good or bad going into 2016 for real time?
It's great.
I think it's necessary, absolutely necessary.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think it's going to change things?
Even as things as simple as, like the YouTube videos and stuff, Larry and I do, when we market a property, we usually do a video tour of the house, and I do a little talk at the beginning or whatever. And we have our photos on the website, and just having that little personal connection, we already have overcome a big trust barrier because people say, oh, these are real people. We know who they are. They'll say, oh, I saw you on TV. I was like, well, YouTube, okay. But there's a real trust thing that just naturally occurs because we're not hiding behind this curtain of anonymity. We're real people. We're just there to talk to people, see if we can solve a problem.
We're all becoming millennials. You know what's the greatest thing about millennials is that they're sick of the pretentiousness, the phoniness, the scripts, the thing. They want reality. They want honesty.
Yeah.
And the camera shows it all. If you're boring, it's going to come through. If you're entertaining, exciting, if you're enthusiastic, it comes through the camera.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. And for people like us, we have nothing to hide or be ashamed of. We love this stuff.
Yeah.
Joe, before I know you got to go, there's a question from Brad O here, and I want to address it. May I ask, what would you say is one of the biggest pain points for realtors, brokers right now?
Not enough leads.
Okay. I have a one-word answer.
I'm sure mine's not as good as yours.
Money.
But I'll just say, well, they don't have enough money. They don't have enough money because they don't have enough leads.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to close.
They don't know how to convert their leads. Yeah.
Oh, say it again, Mariska.
They don't know how to convert their leads.
They're not monetizing it. How come some realtors, very few? There's millionaire realtors out there.
There's realtors who are phenomenal.
They're crushing
it. Like less than 2%. There's a good section of them too, and then there's the rest who.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking with one of the top realtors. We had lunch with him a while back. We were talking to one of the top realtors in the state, and I think he said that the average realtor in Washington State, guess how many deals they do per year? Less than 2.
How do you make a living? Unless you're selling in Beverly Hills or something like that.
I mean, granted, the housing prices are higher in Seattle, but I mean, this was all of Washington State, and I just was like, wow, that blew my mind.
Joe, what would you say to Brad O as what advice would you give to a realtor out there who wants to crush it, who wants to make a really decent living, loves real estate as a realtor? What advice would you give, Brad?
Marketing, automation, and delegation, and sales. I would say marketing and sales are kind of the same. I mean, they have to have both, but I think you got to become a student of marketing, and you've got to understand how to get leads. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. And we're going to be talking about those ways at this workshop in Hawaii.
Did you see that segue? How
smooth
he's
good.
That was good.
So I think creativity too. You know, so many realtors, they think the only way I can get paid is at the closing table, paid out of escrow. You have to think really creative as well too. There's so many different things that can be done, and that's really knowing the industry and knowing what's going on and talking to as many people as you can and talking to investors and title companies and everything.
They tend to think that if there isn't that at least 6% equity to get the real estate commission, that it's not a deal. You know, maybe they could short sell it or something, but there's a whole plethora of opportunity that can happen on a deal that has little to no equity.
Larry said a wonderful word before: creative. My advice to Brad is be different, be creative. I believe in something called virtual attraction marketing. Put out such great, compelling, contemporary content that people flock to you. Okay, we're doing this blab right now because we have a workshop in Hawaii. It's in the sidebar here, and evergreensuccessevents.com. Right, it's in the text little area there, and we're doing this because we know a lot of people never heard of Claude Diamond, Joe McCall, or Larry and Mariska, and we want you to discover us and find out what really wonderful and pretty nice people we are, and we want to share our lifestyle, what we've accomplished in creative real estate. We want you guys to have the same thing, but we want to give it to you with accountability, not just say, "Hey, give us your money and then talk to my assistant or read my book." We want to share with you what a wonderful life you can have and have a more one-on-one experience, and that's why we do every year this 3-day workshop mastermind in Hawaii. So go to that webpage, guys. Oh, look at that. There's the pictures I asked Larry Mariska to do. Look at that view. Look at that feed.
One of the best things about this workshop that I'm looking forward to the most is the hot seats. Well, everybody who goes gets 30 minutes to an hour. We're going to set you in the middle of the room, and we're all going to
naked
leave.
With a Mai Tai.
We're all going to leave. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to set you in the middle of the room and just say, all right, tell us about you and your business. What's going on with you right now? What are some of the challenges you're having? What do you need help with? And then we're all going to be sharing kind of like what we think that might help you. And you're going to get the wisdom from Claude and Larry and Mariska and myself, but also the other people in the room are going to be able to contribute as well. And you're going to be coming out with just a wealth of knowledge. Everybody we talked to said that was one of the highlights of the event last year for them, is those hot seats type. It's like a mastermind. Okay, tell us what's going on in your business. Where are you at right now? And we're just going to give you, not overload you with a ton of things that you got to do, but just a few things here and there that you need to be working on. And it's going to be really, really good. I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, we want to share a lot of the new stuff too, the new technologies that are saving you money, giving you better leads, like Blab, like Periscope, like Meerkat, like YouTube, using the social media to reduce your costs and give you the quality leads. So you got that one problem taken care of. And what is before you go, Joe? What do you know? Right now we have 77, 87, 90. We have 90-something people watching us on Blab right now. That does not include the people on Meerkat and Periscope. Some of these are people who follow us on Twitter and Facebook, but a lot of them are probably new people who've never heard of us in creative real estate. What do you think about this technology, this experience?
I'm looking forward to learning more about it. This is the first time I've been on Blab. I did a Periscope when I was in Barcelona, Spain a few months ago, and it was pretty cool. I was on the beach watching some people dance, and I thought this will be funny. And I did a Periscope on it, and there was a ton of people watching it. So I'm looking forward to learning from you, Claude, more about how to use social media to get new business, seller leads, for deals. And, it's important to be up to date with the latest technology. It really is.
It really is. And I see that's a problem with a lot of the other seminars and stuff. You say social media, you say Facebook and stuff, and they think that's about marketing to somebody in high school they didn't like, who stuffed them into a locker, and they don't want to talk to them anymore. This is the media. Everybody is carrying around the $600 little device called an iPhone or an Android. And if we're not marketing towards these people, we're missing the boat, and we're spending too much money. Larry Mariska, what's your take?
Well, we do this all the time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So I just like to add that, when we had the event last year, I was totally amazed. One of my biggest concerns is we're going to lose people, because the ocean is right there. People are going to leave and go out and hang out next to the pool and whatever. But we really had 3 solid days plus the evenings as far as for networking and everything else. But we had 3 solid days where basically nobody left the room unless they had to go use the restroom. It was like, it was incredible. And I think both you and Joe and Claude, you guys both said too, that you were in the room the whole time too, because you were learning from everybody who was in the room as well too. And again, it's a small group. We're not filling the room with hundreds of people. It's going to be a small group and
no hot coals,
very intimate setting. And Mariska and I are going to be there early. We're actually arriving on the 21st. So if anybody wants to come early and do some networking, that'd be great. And just get together. We'll show you around the island as well too. And then we're going to be staying a few days later too. So we're, it's Kauai is one of the most beautiful places in the world.
Well, listen, I need to go. My family is waiting for me. We're going to a Christmas party.
Okay.
I just want to say I'm really looking forward to this workshop with you, Claude and Larry and Mariska. It's going to be a lot of fun. If guys, it's going to change your life. It's going to change your business. You got to check it out, and you're not going to regret it. evergreensuccessevents.com, right?
There it is.
Thanks so much for joining us, Joe. Merry Christmas, and I look forward to seeing you next month.
Well, good. I'll be talking. I'm sorry. I just got to go. My family's actually in the car. So
okay.
What do you have? You have a small bus, don't you, to seat that all those?
Yeah, for all 106 kids.
Oh yeah. Joe's got a big family.
107.
It keeps on getting bigger every time I talk to you.
Hey, have a wonderful Christmas, Joe, to you and your lovely family, and drive safe.
All right, see you guys.
Take care, Joe. And I think I'm going to stop the record. I'm going to stop the recording
and everything else. Mariska and I do a lot of that, and seriously, it's like when Claude talks about putting yourself or talking to 5 people a day. When we do a meetup and we've got 60 people in a meetup, it's just like, well, we figure, okay, we've
that's
talked
it for a couple weeks.
That's it for a couple weeks, you know. So I think, Brad, to answer that, I think one of the biggest social hurdles is really making sure you do it on a consistent basis.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know, if you don't do it on a consistent basis, people will forget who you are, and you know, it's just important to do it on a consistent basis. And occasionally, you know, like, okay, so we occasionally send out emails to our clients and emails to, you know, and that's actually, it's kind of a little different than social media. It's more direct mail, but you know, you're going to run into people that are saying, well, I'm tired of hearing from you, and then they're going to drop off, and that's fine. You know, it's like, I'm sorry that I don't have anything to help you with, but we will still be here if you decide you want to come around.
Well, I do have to say though, we have had people who have unsubscribed from our email list only to get back on it again in the future. So, you know, not sure what to think of that. So don't take it too personally. You know, somebody unsubscribes.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I think that, you know, I love